What if I told you by missing out on one of myEcon's cash flow shifting strategies, you could lose hundreds of thousands of dollars? As a matter of fact, it could be more than $400,000. Let's talk about it. At myEcon, we're very big on helping people grow their cash flow. Now, we have our core product called the Cashflow Shifting Membership. The Cashflow Shifting Membership will allow a person to grow their cash flow through 6 different methods. The first area of growing your cash flow is going to be our quick cash flow increase on the job. The second area is going to be the minimization of taxes. The third area is going to be the improvement of your credit using the myCredit system. The fourth area is debt elimination. The fifth area is going to be the Own a Piece of America strategy, which is one of my favorites, by helping you invest. And then number 6 is through affiliate income. Now, you're going to use every single one of these to grow your cash flow. But today, we're just going to talk about one of them. And I think it's a very important strategy to talk about because you could literally lose hundreds of thousands of dollars. As a matter of fact, in this example, it's going to be over $400,000. Now, imagine trying to become financially successful, grow your cash flow, and you lose $3 to $4, almost $500,000. I would say that would be almost impossible, wouldn't it? But I'm going to go through a quick example and show you exactly how this could happen to you and how you can change your life. So let's take a look at a couple of slides. The first slide I have here is going to be this one here, okay? This is good credit versus bad credit going to get a mortgage. Now, in today's society, a good credit mortgage is going to be about 7%. This is a $350,000 house, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is what they're saying is a starter home today. I remember a starter home was much less than this, but let's really look at this example. The monthly payment here will be $23.29. Now, that's going to be principal and interest, not including the taxes and the insurance. So it's very easy to have a payment like this. Well, most people sign the dotted line for a 30-year mortgage. That's 360 months. Well, 360 payments of $23.29 is $838,000 plus dollars. Now, I want you to think about that. You pay $488,000 in interest in that example. But we're not done. Think about it. At what point is your home going to be worth the $838,000 in your lifetime? It probably won't. See, we live in a society that teaches us that your home is your biggest asset. Now remember, an asset puts money in your pocket, a liability takes money out of your pocket. Well, even if you pay this home off, you still have to pay property taxes, you still have to pay utilities, so you're going to continue to have expenses, so it's continuing to take money out of your pocket. So your home really isn't your biggest asset. Now, people buy 2 or 3 homes in their lifetime, but I want you to continue with this example. What if this person did not have excellent credit? They have maybe marginal credit or maybe going borderline bad credit. They would have 11% interest rate on this same mortgage. $350,000 mortgage, the payment jumps by $1,000 plus dollars. $33.33 is the new payment for the same house. Now, 360 payments at $33.33, that's $1.1 million plus dollars for this same house. And this is definitely not a $1 million house. So why do we have to fix our credit? Because you don't just want to get approved for the house, you want to get approved for the house in the best possible scenario. In this example, on the bad credit, you spend $839,000 on just interest. Well, if that's what you're spending on interest, I'm telling you, you got a financial hole or a cash flow hole in your pocket. Now, the difference in cash flow between the bad credit and the good credit is $361,000. Now, that's just this one example. But how many homes are you going to buy? 2 or 3 of them in your lifetime, right? During your working career, in most cases, that's the average. Well, you got a serious problem. Well, we're not done with this example. Let's go to another example. Let's take a look at a car loan, good credit, 5%, a $50,000 car. They say in America today, the average car is $50,000 plus dollars, and it's the highest that it's ever been. Well, a payment here is $805 with good credit. Now we're going to go with 72 months in payments because most people are spreading those loans out longer so they can make the payment a little smaller so they can manage it a little better. Well, 72 months at $805, that's $57,000 plus for this car. The interest paid is $7,960. But I want to ask you something. How much is that car worth today? So if you've spent money on it for 7 years, driven it, done all the things that you needed to do, how much could you sell it for? Maybe $8,000. So you've effectively turned $57,000 plus into something you probably don't want. I want you to think about that. I'm not saying don't buy a car, but I want you to really understand what's really happening to your money. Now let's take a look at the bad credit. Now, usually it is probably a lot higher than this 14% that I have here, but we're going to go with 14%. Well, the same $50,000 car is a $1,000 plus payment. They say today, statistically, 25% of payments now are 4 figures on a monthly basis, and that's the highest percentage that it's ever been to be 4 figures. At 72 months, look at this, $74,000 for the same car, okay? Now, is that car worth $74,000 now? No, it is not. Probably $7,000, maybe $8,000. The interest on that is $24,000. Now look at the difference in cash flow. $16,200 is the difference. See, people kind of have this marginal credit and they do this all their lives. They buy the homes with the marginal credit, whether it's 1, 2, or 3 homes. And typically you buy 5 or 6 vehicles during your working life. Well, look at this. That's $97,000 in lost cash flow. Now, the previous example, we had $361,000. Now we got another $97,000. If you add that together, that's about $460,000 in lost cash flow. You can't afford to lose $460,000 in cash flow during your working life. How could you ever be financially successful? No matter what kind of degree you have, no matter what side of the tracks you were born on, it's going to be a very tough haul, if not impossible. But I want to show you the real ramifications of what we're talking about here. This example that I have here is taking the difference of those payments. So the difference in the house payment was about $1,000 and the difference in the car payment was about $200 or so dollars, maybe almost $300. So we've got $1,274 in the difference in all those payments throughout your working career. Well, if you had taken that money and dropped it in your 401k or some type of investment account and gotten 12% rate of return. Now, it's very easy to get 12% rate of return when you look at our strategy called Own a Piece of America. We're going to teach you about investing, understanding how to pick great investments, right? Well, 12% is a pretty easy deal. Well, look at this. In 30 years, if you're going to work for 30 years, you would have taken $1,274 every month and dropped it into your investment account. Do you understand that's $4,452,000 plus in cash flow that your family has lost? See, you were already provided all the tools that you needed to become a millionaire. But because you did not understand credit and how credit worked and how it affected your cash flow, see, don't get good credit just because you want to get approved. Get good credit because you want to manage cash flow. See, remember, myEcon is all about cash flow. See, this is $4 million of your family legacy that you're leaving on the table when you don't have good credit. And then just, of course, that one example, the $400,000+ in just cash flow. But now let's talk about taking it all the way out. Taking it all the way out and what it could really become. See, you don't just earn what you lost in interest payments. You lose whatever those interest payments could have become. In this example, it could have become $4 million. See, you have what's inside you to become a millionaire. So how do we fix it? myEcon's myCredit system. The myCredit system will allow you to improve your credit typically in 90 to 180 days. And now you can refinance your home if you need to, refinance your cars if you need to. Take all of your credit cards, put them on a 0% interest credit card if you need to. And now you start putting more cash flow back into where? Your pocket. That's what we call cash flow shifting. But that's just one area, one dynamic. Remember the other parts. What about the minimization of taxes? How much cash flow are you losing there? How about the overpayment of taxes? How much are you losing there? What about the debts that you have? How much are you losing there? What about the lack of understanding on investments? How much could you be making on your investments? How much cash flow are you losing there? When you break all this down, you're looking at millions of dollars in cash flow. So I hope you understand how important it is to have excellent credit. Now we're going to cover every other area of the cash flow shifting membership, and we're going to do that through different segments on this YouTube channel. So like, subscribe, do everything you need to do to grow your cash flow. Focus in on myEcon, get to trainings, and change your life.